Welcome back, and thanks again for tuning in for this conversation. This is going to be a spinoff from a conversation we had 2 weeks ago as we were talking about how we have made hell look attractive. And I said we because I'm talking about all of us, saints and sinners, believers and unbelievers. I mean, we've all participated in making hell look somewhat attractive. And the weird thing is that Satan knows that hell doesn't look attractive. And so he doesn't try to paint hell as being attractive. We do that. But what Satan has is these tools of manipulation and these tools of being deceptive. And I mean, he's like a pimp, if you will. He's pimping the road to hell. See, that's it. He's made the road to hell look very attractive, very alluring, is what he's done. Because everything you want on the road to hell, it's an opportunity for you. It's out there. He's got it. He's got it all dressed up. I mean, if you like going to strip clubs, he's got that for you. If you like pornography, he's got that for you. I mean, whatever your appetite is itching for, is thirsty for, Satan has it on the road to hell. He's dressed it up real pretty. It's very seductive. I mean, it's prosperous. I mean, you got people in her banking doing real well. It's desirable. I mean, it has an appetite for everyone, every single individual. I mean, whatever your lust is, believe me, it's sitting out there on the road to hell. That's what's attractive. The kids like to say it's on and popping. I mean, everything you want. Yeah, it's the place to be, and it's the place to be seen. And you know how we are about being seen. I mean, come on, we love being seen, and so that's the place to be. So you would think. I mean, those individuals on the road to hell, your family, your friends, I mean, they're looking at you, some of your children, let's be frank, maybe your parents, maybe your grandparents, but they're looking at you and they're making a statement. Why aren't you over here? I mean, it's a party over here. I mean, it's exciting over here. It's sparkling over here. I mean, this is where all the action is happening. They're trying to lure you because they're telling you there's nothing better than this. And truth be told, we know there's something way better than that. It's just that they're reveling in the season that they're in right now. But they can't get to you, and they don't understand how you don't see what they see. But they don't understand what you see. I had the opportunity years ago to talk to a psychologist, and I was asking him, what is it about drugs that makes it so addictive? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, it destroys people's lives. I mean, some people lost their jobs, lost their families. I mean, they lost everything. Some people just simply homeless, just beat down. Some people are dead. I mean, what is it about drugs and alcohol that's so alluring? And he told me, Donnie, when they get on these drugs, they have a high that just blows their mind. It's a whole nother stratosphere of fantasies after fantasies. And so they're in a dream world, and they're trying to figure out, why aren't you over here in this dream world with them? Because they feel like this high is so good, you're missing something. And so they feel like they're right, like they're in the right place. Like, Donnie, who wants all that responsibility that you have, all that accountability that you have? Who wants all that? They just want to be free. And so in their minds, they're free. Now, their whole lifestyle, their character, I mean, everything about them is just simply going to waste. But they don't see that. They see the next high. And when you think about it, that's the way people feel about the road to hell. They don't understand why you're not over here with them. Yeah, your family, your friends. I mean, come on, your wife or your husband or your parents. They don't understand why you're not over here enjoying, feasting, and all of these things that they're feasting at on this road to hell. They think something's wrong with you. And that's where we find my assignment for this morning, is to show you what heaven looks like. Because we focus too much on not going to hell, we forget about what heaven looks like. We forget about the goal. See, the goal is to go to heaven. But our whole testimony, our whole witness, most of your sermons are all about not going to hell. And when it comes to heaven, I mean, we've heard about some of the characteristics, some of the features of heaven. I mean, the streets are paved with gold, and I mean, every mineral, every stone. You talk about jewelry. I mean, everything that you could ever want, every color. I mean, it's in heaven. Heaven is banking. I mean, heaven is loaded. Heaven has everything we need. But the enticings on that road to hell look so intriguing. But everything we need is represented in heaven. We're told there'll be no more suffering up there. And we know we want some of that. We want some of that so bad. We're told there'll be no more pain up there, no more sorrow, no more depression, no more mental health issues, if you will, no more gang violence up there, no more crime. I mean, no more abuse, no more of you needing to sexually weaponize your body. No need for that. No more brokenness. I mean, no more guilt. There shouldn't be any complaining, no more shame, no more stress, no more weeping of your eyes, no more crying, no more tears needed. No more restless nights because you don't know where your children are and you're always wondering where your husband is or where your wife is. You're always wondering, where is that individual? They're out of place. And then we're told there's no more dying up there. See, that's a glimpse of heaven. Heaven is God's dwelling place. It's a place of love, a place of peace. It's a place of joy. It's a place of community and worship, where everything in heaven is operating according to God's will. No longer your will. We've had our opportunity, but it's according to God's will. And I wouldn't want it in anyone's hands better than God. Now, in order to get to heaven, the sad thing is we have to go through some hellish situations, some hellish circumstances, some hellish issues here on this earth. As believers, we are anxious to get to heaven. But you've heard the old adage that everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die to get there. But we're anxious to get there. And so we're listening for those words, beam me up, Scotty, teleport me up to that deluxe apartment in the sky called heaven. But before we jump on our spacecrafts like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos building all these spaceships going to outer space, before we do that, let's look at a little bit of heaven we have right here on earth. We've been told time and time again to wait on the Lord. We've been told to wait till we get to heaven and we're going to have a great time. But we're not built that way. As humans, we are anxious and we want some stuff right now, and nothing wrong with that. But sin has what I call a suddenly spirit. Sin wants to just do everything, just run rampage, if you will. Sin just wants to run ragged and rugged. And so sin is kind of like cancer. It wants to eat away at everything inside of you quickly and suddenly, because heaven seems so far away. We don't want to wait. And if we're not careful, we'll eat ourselves away. We'll wear ourselves down. Now, heaven's worth waiting for, don't get me wrong. Lucifer enjoyed a little heaven before he was kicked out. Judas enjoyed the presence of heaven as he was chosen as one of the disciples before he was basically played out. The woman with the issue of blood touched the hem of heaven. The woman caught in the act of adultery was forgiven by heaven. The disciples were chosen, witnessed, and given power by heaven. Paul was willed by heaven to be an apostle. John the Baptist was the forerunner for heaven. And Adam and Eve are the only two individuals that we know of that breathe a sinless, a heavenly breath. Back in 1974, the Ohio Players penned this song called Heaven Must Be Like This. And in the lyrics, the singer is addressing a young lady and he's telling her that she's a piece of his heaven. He's telling her that she makes him find happiness when he's around her. He finds lovingness. He finds a place to rest his head, to rest his aching brain, if you will, his mind. She is his love divine. But he goes on to make this statement, and this is what I'm going to really focus on. He says, you know what I think heaven is? I think heaven is you. He has a point, because we seem to make heaven look so unattainable. We make it seem so elusive. But heaven is tangible. And all we have to do is look in small places to see just glimpses of heaven. When you see your mother and father protecting you and providing for you, taking care of you, making sure you're safe. That's a glimpse of heaven coming from them. I got a couple of questions for you. Have you ever had a relationship that felt like a piece of heaven? Have you ever been involved with someone? I mean, your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, but uh, you can compare them to just a glimpse of heaven because every time you came around them, you just felt better about yourself. I mean, they just made you feel better because of their attitude, their personality, I mean, their character. It was just something about them that made you feel like if you were a puzzle, they were always that piece that fit in that made you feel good about yourself. See, that's a piece of heaven. That you're getting a glimpse of what heaven is like. God tells Adam and Eve in Genesis 2 and 24, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now, have you ever asked yourself, why do I have to leave my father and my mother? I'm going to stay with my boo, but why do I have to leave? And the reason why is because in Matthew 6 and 24, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other. Your daddy, your mama, they're going to be in the way. They're going to be in the way of your little heaven here on earth because they're going to try to keep parenting you. They're going to try to keep adulting you, if you will. And that's not the place to be. And God is saying, I need a relationship with you now, with the two of you, because your marriage is like it's a covenant. Your marriage is like heaven, because heaven is like a marriage that we're all waiting for. And so I can't have mama them, daddy them in the way. Do you receive this? I pray you receive this. You've got to let daddy go. You've got to let mama go, because heaven wants to embrace you and your union with your wife, with your husband. So that's what God was telling Adam and Eve, that I need you to leave so that you two can cleave to one another, because I need you clinging to me so that I can bless you. I can't bless you if you're clinging to Pawpaw. No, I can't bless you then because you're clinging to him, so you want your blessings to come from him. You can't hold on to Mama. That's too much. That's why we have all these issues with mother-in-laws and father-in-law, because you guys won't divorce them and they won't divorce you. And God is saying, I need you guys to detach so that I can come in and sup with these two individuals as a married couple. I need to make sure I put my stamp on you guys so that I can bless you guys. But you got to move. You just can't stay in that same old realm of daddy taking care of you. See, cleaving is an important word because cleaving is an intimate word. It means I want to be close to you physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It brings about a special covenant, if you will, between a husband and wife. Because I told you, it's the example of marriage, the marriage union in heaven that we're all waiting for, that we all desire and striving for. Cleaving is being watchful over one another of what you say and what you do. Cleaving is building one another. It's encouraging one another. It's protecting one another. That's what cleaving is. Cleaving it gives you a freedom, if you will, with one another. It lets you show how vulnerable you are with one another. It's that old statement, uh, being naked and not ashamed with one another. I mean, not just not wearing clothes. I mean, just naked, telling the truth to each other. It's sharing. It's selflessness. It's submission. It's loving. I mean, cleaving is like the two of you being kids and sucking off the same sucker and not having a problem with it. See, that's cleaving to my boo. That's a tightness. That's a union. That's us becoming one. That's what the Lord is trying to share with you. That you can have a little heaven right here on earth. Now, you can't let all this social media stuff get inside of your head, because then it becomes a part of you. And that's where the divide starts. That's where you're no longer cleaving, you're starting to leave because you're listening to so many voices from so many outside, and believe me, influences. And these people have so many different ideologies, and you don't know where they came from. You don't know what these people have been through. And you're believing what they're saying, and you don't even understand the angle that they're coming from. I mean, when you start listening to your dysfunctional siblings, I mean, you better check yourself. I mean, you know that they got a problem, and you're trying to let them give you advice. You got to be kidding. You're listening to your friends, all their broken relationships and all their failures. And here you are, you have a harmonious marriage, but you're listening to them. And so what they're doing is they're pulling the fabric of your marriage away from you slowly but surely. Yeah, you were cleaving, but now you find yourself kind of leaving mentally because you're hearing all this stuff from your friends because, see, it's getting into you. You're like a sponge. You're absorbing it. Satan is so clever. I told you, Satan is trying to put you back out on that road to hell. That's what he's trying to do. So he don't want you to see heaven. No, 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 no. He don't want you to even think about heaven. He wants you to always dwell in hell. And by putting all this stuff inside of you, that's exactly what you're doing. You're watching and listening to all this negative stuff versus living. Did you hear me? You're watching, yes. You're listening, and therefore you're not living. You're not living in your lane. And if you're single people, listen to me. Cling to Jesus. Cling to Jesus. Cleave to Jesus 24/7. Because there you see heaven all day long. I mean, you have an advantage when you think about it. You can see glimpses of heaven all day long because you're cleaving to Jesus. You're not cleaving to man. You're not cleaving to a woman. You're not clinging to things and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I know we want a lot of stuff, but don't cling to it, because if you cling, you'll cleave. I need you to be free, to enjoy your life, to embrace life. I mean, think back to the first time you met your spouse, or you met your significant other. Just think back. I know it's going to take some of you a long time, but go back and just think for a moment. You remember those butterflies you had, that good old goosebump feeling you had? I mean, you seen fireworks and stars. Just think back to that moment. You know how that felt. See, that had that appeal that heaven must be like this. It must be like this, because you won't fire for that individual. I mean, but think about it now. You've been together for a while, and you've been cleaving, but you find some separation. Let me tell you why. When was the last time you sit under your husband in the car like you're his girlfriend? When was the last time? When was the last time, man, that you snuggled, you cuddled with your wife? When was the last time that you opened the car door for her? When was the last time that you grabbed her hand first when y'all were walking together? When was the last time you hugged her and held her tight? Not wanting anything, but just simply just loving on her, just feeling her and enjoying her. You see, that's what kids do. And we can learn from kids if you think about it, because kids just run up and hug each other. Hey, how you doing? And really mean it. So glad to see one another. When was the last time that you were happy to see your husband come through the door? Let me tell you what's happening. You stop seeking the kingdom first. Yeah. You got yourself out on that road. Yeah, you're thirsty for that road because of what all your friends are doing. You're thirsty for what you used to do because that comes up in your head. So we stop seeking heaven within our spouses. Yes. I should look at my wife and I should be able to see a little glimpse of heaven inside of her, through her. Like I can look at my parents who have that protective measure over me. I can see heaven in them. When was the last time you seen heaven in your husband? See, what you've done is you've allowed Satan to take the kid out of your marriage. That's what you've done. Because when two adults get married, listen to me. We started arm wrestling for power, for who's more significant, for who's going to run this house, who's going to be in charge. That's what we started doing. Two adults. It's hard for two adults to be together. I'm telling you, it is very hard. That's why the Lord told you, cleave to your husband and y'all become one. He don't want you to be two. He wants you to be one. Satan wants you to be two. And there lies the problem. Because adults will muddy the water every single time. Let me tell you what you should be in your marriage. You should be youthful. That's what you should be. My advice to you in your marriage, you should be useful. Allow God to be the adult in your marriage. And you're going to have a blessed marriage. You've got enough adult issues in your marriage to take care of as an adult. And don't get me wrong, we all grow. We all get older and get wiser. But if you're going to adult somebody, then you have children for that. Be the adult with them. But men, stop adulting your wife. That's your wife. Yeah, she needs you to be her husband, not her father. She needs you to be her priest, not her God. That's what she needs. And we need the kid in our relationship to be relevant and present at all time. You see, no one wants to surrender. No one wants to sacrifice. No one wants to bow in a marriage. Everyone wants to be God. But that position is already occupied. I mean, go ask Eve. She knows it. Your marriage isn't that hard. You're just hard on your marriage. You're just hard in your marriage. And some of you just might be too hard for your marriage. That's when you start leaving versus cleaving. My granddaughter was telling me years ago when she was an adolescent, she was telling me that, Granddaddy, I don't want to grow up. And I'm saying, you don't want to grow up? No, she said, Granddad, I don't want to grow up. I want to remain a kid forever. I said, whoa, whoa, what are we talking about? Let me tell you what she was saying. She was getting a glimpse of our hell. That's what she was getting a glimpse of. And she was saying, grown-ups are so miserable. I mean, grown-ups are always complaining and fussing and fighting. I mean, grown-ups just don't seem to be happy. That's the testimony that she was receiving. She's watching social media. She's looking at all the politicians fighting. She's looking at all the race issues. She's looking at all the gender issues. She's looking at all the issues this world has to offer, all the tension. I mean, she's looking at news. And so she stopped watching the news, by the way. She's looking at all the crime and murder and all the homelessness and all the battles that we have as people, all the religious battles. And we're trying to draw them to Jesus. And we're so messed up. She said, I want to be a kid forever. What a poor steward. What a poor representation of heaven here on earth that we're giving. This is one that you all can relate to. I've heard so many couples say this, and I might have said it too. I've heard it so many times. If my husband died, I'm not getting married again. I'm not going through all that again. Wow. What a poor testimony. If my wife died, oh, I'm not going to marry nobody. Oh, no, I can't put up with that again. You can't put up with that again. That was supposed to be your little heaven here on earth. Wow. So what happened? That's supposed to be your heaven right here on earth. Heaven must be like this. It must be like this. Well, that's not your boo. That's not your little piece of heaven right here. When you look at your wife, you don't see a little heaven in her. When you look at your husband, you don't see heaven in him. See, I know you do, but the adult in you, you don't want to see heaven. You want to see you. And that's the problem, Eve. That's the problem, Adam. You should be seeing God. You see, we get so big, we make the statement, if he dies, I'm not getting married again. What you're saying is, I'm not going through that again. I don't want that again. Because I could never see me in him. You weren't supposed to. You were supposed to see the heaven in him, the protective things that he brought to your life, the provider that he brought to your life. He was supposed to see you, the nurturer. He was supposed to be all the things that help you guys build a team, being the helpmeet. But we keep trying to find ourselves in someone else versus seeing God in them. And so we messed the whole thing up to where our grandchildren, our children don't want to be nothing like us. Because we just as crazy as we can be. I know you made that statement. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. When was the last time you and your husband just went out together? Just you and your husband. Not to your kids' parties. No, not your grandkids' parties. I'm not asking that question. When was the last time you and your boo went somewhere and had fun, just the two of you? Went to Top Golf, or you went to, I don't care if you just took out some cards and just played cards on the living room table. Just the two of you laughing and having fun, enjoying life together. When was the last time you laughed so hard with your husband that it put a stitch in your side? That you laughed so hard you almost passed out? You see, that's a glimpse of heaven. That's what you need in your life. You need the kid to come out of you, yeah, because you got too much adult in both of you. You need that kid to come out and have fun because you're suffocating the kid inside of you. I know your parents told you most of your life, you need to grow up. You need to mature fast so you can get up out of here and you can go out there and you can be and make a difference in the world. See, that's a directive that they pushed on us. Not that there's something wrong with that, but watch this. We took that to a whole different level. And we just started suffocating the kid inside of us. You got to let that kid come out. That kid's got to play. That kid's got to have some breathing room so that you can see the best version of yourself. Your two adults are strangling each other. I told you, you both can't be in the room together. And the Lord told you, I want you to cleave and lead because I want to be the father in your life, but I want y'all to be one. And if you're single, then you're the single one. But I want y'all to be one. We've been told that laughter is good for your stomach. It's good for your health. It's like a good medicine. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 22. We stopped laughing, and that's our problem. We wanted the kid out because we decided to strangle, suffocate the kid inside of us. We've decided that we want to be an adult in every situation, and you're strangling your marriage. Yeah, you're hurting your marriage because you won't let the kid come out and play. Everything about you is so serious. You know, you send your kids out to play, and you've got a plan though. They don't know it, but you send them outside to play to exhaust themselves and having fun. And when they come back in, you're gonna feed them, give them a bath, and put them in bed. Well, that's what you need. You and your husband, you and your wife. You need to laugh. You need to go out and have fun where you laugh so much that you exhaust yourself. And then watch this. And then the next day you do something else and have fun and you exhaust yourself again. You keep doing this and repeating this over and over again. You've got to let the kid out. I'm telling you. You can't come home every day being like two bulls in a china shop going at each other. Somebody's got to submit. Somebody's got to love. Somebody's got to sacrifice. Someone has to surrender. If you want a healthy marriage, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to laugh through some of this stuff. You've got to see heaven inside of your spouse. You've got to. He's got to see heaven inside of you because guess what? You're reflecting, yeah, you're a witness to God, for God. And if you're not doing your part, shame on you. I told you, you're a poor steward of kingdom living, of kingdom, yeah, ship. That's what you are. You become a poor steward of kingdomship. Your marriage needs to strive. It needs to be protected, but it needs to make it because you're in it and you should be in it to win it. Everything around you is distraction. Everything around you. We're all God's children. And He's the adult in every situation in our lives. All we have to do is to bow. That's the issue. Do you have a bowing spirit in your relationship with the Father, with the Son, with the Holy Spirit? Do you have a bowing relationship with your spouse? See, divorce only happens because two adults act out like kids and start dividing up all their toys, all their stuff, and going home and leaving one another. That's what happens. You were told to leave and to cleave and to become one. We all grow, we all get older, we all get wiser. But never let the kid in your relationship escape. Make sure you keep him bounded there. And you pull him out and you use him. Yeah, you enact him. You activate him every single day. That's the way you see glimpses of heaven. Yeah, heaven must be like this. Well, it depends on what your must like this is. I pray is what it should be. Matthew 26:41 tells us to watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. See, that's that road to hell. You need to check your flesh. Stop being the adult in every situation and let God be God. If you want your marriage to be successful, start bowing, start sacrificing. Believe that there's something greater in your marriage than just you. Yeah. What people are looking at from the outside in, my granddaughter, what she's looking at, she needs to see somebody making it. She needs to see somebody who's in love and who's enjoying themselves in a marriage. Yeah, I think the Ohio players got it right. Heaven must be like this. It must be like this. Everyone around you needs to see a little heaven inside of you. The only way they can see it truly is that you must confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. And that you must believe that God has raised him from the dead. And you too shall be saved. See, that's me seeing heaven in you because you've accepted Jesus. And so if he's abiding in you and you're abiding in him, wow, what a great picture to look at. I pray that you be that witness. You be that testimony in front of your family and friends, in front of your spouse, in front of your parents. I pray that you're the one, yes, who've gotten off that road and who's trying to show them a better picture of what heaven looks like so they can come off that road and join you. You be blessed and have a great day.